Yeah. So, did you know anything about the movie script? It was
No, I was hoping they were gonna do a crossover movie where Jack Bauer teams up with John McClane.
That would have been epic,
Yeah, they'll be attacking terrorists coast to coast.
coast to coast.
What'd you hear about the movie?
Actually, I don't remember much of what it was supposed to be about. I think it was supposed to be. I don't know. That's why I was wondering if you knew, because I was wondering how much of the original movie script actually made it into the life after live another day, whatever.
Yeah, Live Another Day, 24.
24 lad. That's what we should call it. That.
I think Fox is just coming up with weird names just for the hell of it at this point.
Yeah. Redemption.
Yeah.
There's no redemption. I don't know. Yeah, 24 lad.
Yeah. No, I don't know anything about the movie, but 24 Lad. Make
Yeah.
it happen. 24 Lad, LAD.
Following takes place between 12 p.m. and 1 p.m. Discussion occurs in real time. Welcome to That's Alt, where we discuss movies, television, games, and everything geek. I'm Special Agent in the field, Brian McBalls. And with me is comms director Mike Ronan Fan. How are you doing, Mike?
Doing pretty well. Ready to get into that Jack Bauer Power Hour
That
again.
Power Hour, though.
Yeah.
Today's episode is in honor of one of our favorite TV shows, 24. We are calling it 24 in 24 minutes. And just like the show, we have a little counter at the bottom here to keep us on track. So let's begin. First, I want to give the audience a gauge of how we felt about the original series. So why don't you start us off on your thoughts on the original 24 series?
Well, the original series started in 2001 and ran 8 seasons. There was a short mini for TV movie that took place between season 6 and 7, which was interesting. But I loved the series up into season 5. I actually jumped in on the series on season 4, midway through, where the main villain was Emotep. And by the way, spoiler, you want to...
The spoiler warning, yeah.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen 24 or 24 Lad, which is Live Another Day, we are spoiling everything. There's no holds barred. So if you don't want to spoiled, get out. If you don't care, you're in the right place.
Okay, I jumped on the series on season 4, finished that, and then decided to marathon before season 5 started. So I watched season 1 through 4, which steadily started blowing my mind. But by season 5, the first episode of season 5, if you didn't know, for the past couple seasons, Jack Bauer has been protecting a presidential candidate and then eventually President Palmer.
Mm-hmm.
In the very first episode, in the first couple minutes, dude gets sniped in the neck. Just blows your mind. And then there was 2 other agents that he worked with, Tony Almeida and Michelle Drexler. They get killed within a couple seconds of that. So that just my face just started melting.
Yeah.
So I was really hooked on the show. But after season 5, going on to season 6, it started declining slowly. And I think that's a general consensus.
Yeah, I think that's what most people feel, that 5 was really, really strong. They offed most of the popular casts. I mean, these were people who were with the show for 5 years, and they're just gone. And then
no one's safe on that show. This was Game of Thrones before Game of Thrones.
That's true. I mean, before the show, 24 took liberties in offing characters pretty often. And yeah, I never felt like it was the same after that. It's like they offed most of the cast that I was attached to.
Right.
And it seemed like anybody new they brought in was just kind of an afterthought.
Well, I like Renee Walker.
Yeah.
She was a capable agent that was almost, stood side by side with Jack.
Yeah, for a little while. And
Yeah.
you don't stand side by side with Jack for that long.
Yeah, no.
But anyways, yeah, I don't know. It just, they reused a lot of the same tropes.
Right.
There's always a mole. There's always, there's always the guy who doesn't trust Jack. And then there's the people who do trust Jack. And they're like, yeah, I'll help you. And then they get killed in the next episode.
Yeah.
So, all these tropes were recycled. It felt like they were keeping the show on life support to a point where, Jack is the only thing carrying the show, I think.
Yeah, and he's definitely showing his age in Live Another Day.
Mm-hmm.
He's getting up there in age. So my question is, if they, I guess, bring the series back, will they reboot it with a new character?
See, I don't know if it could work, and that's what we'll dive into actually, because little background info. They were supposed to make a movie. They
Right.
were in talks to make a movie. Didn't work out. But here we got Live Another Day. And it's a mini-series, 12 episodes. And I guess my first question is, do you think it should have come back? Should 24 have come back? Was this worthy of coming back?
I was always, I'm a fan of the series, so of course I wanted it to come back, but it seems like they came back half-ass. It seems like they were budgeted, and they didn't have, now, special effects and all aside, that doesn't make a show, but it seems like they were budgeted and they were writing around the budget of the show, and there's not really many new great surprises in the series now. Like you said, there's a lot of old tropes, and we keep seeing them reappear. One again is like there's always a mole. Of course, there's a mole in the CIA agent. CTU has been disbanded now, I guess.
Is that what they said? I don't recall.
But yeah, it's not existence anymore. But they're currently operating in the CIA
headquarters in London. Here's my big, I guess, controversy with the whole thing. Is the show creators were away. When did season 8 end? Like 2010?
I want to say
it's been a while.
It was 8 seasons started 2001, so 2009 then.
Something like that. There was a writer's strike with somewhere.
There was a writer's strike.
So it was around then. They've had about 3-4 years to come up with stuff.
And Kiefer Sutherland went to prison.
Yeah. That's another thing. But it's funny though is that the writers I kept reading interviews and such where they're like, we're going to do 12 episodes. It's going to be different. We've had time to come up with some new things.
Right.
And kind of a new formula because they're not doing 24 episodes. They're doing 12. And they were talking about using time skips and stuff like that.
Yeah, instead of following the structure of every minute happening every second.
Yeah, so I was hoping they had fixed the issues of the reused tropes and the predictability. But in my opinion, I don't think they have. I don't think it should have come back.
Really?
I that's my opinion at this point.
At this point, I want the movie where he teams up with John McClane.
Yeah, but that would be awesome. But I don't know if we'd ever see that happen though.
Okay.
And just the two properties crossing. They both are Fox.
They're both Fox.
It could
they're
possibly.
both two guys, pushing uphill.
Yeah, that's true. It could be like
geriatrics.
The geriatric 24 Die Hard. That should be the name of it. 24 Die Hard. Because you got to live another day. So yeah, I don't know. The writers, to me, it was very disappointing. And I guess let's go into the story for some specific instances.
Yeah.
For one, the mole. I mean, do you think that after so many years of moles infiltrating these government agencies that
they need a better vetting system?
Yeah, they need something more internal auditing. Something, because the high up guys they're just turning coat in the middle of these
the plot twists.
Yeah, and I don't know. It's disappointing to me. And Jack. Now I will say this: it's great to see Jack back. I love the character, and he carries the show. Like he literally is dragging the franchise out of the trenches. Like he's the only saving grace, in my opinion. It's good to see Chloe come back.
I was actually glad to see President Heller.
Yeah, I like William Devane, right?
Yeah.
He's an excellent actor. I think he's very underrated. He shows good presence in this season.
He always has a strong presence. It's the way he carries his voice, the way he enunciates.
And yeah, I mean, and he's doing something different this season too. The character's battling with Alzheimer's.
Yeah, so it's a big struggle. There's a subplot of people trying to find out what's wrong with him. And he has Alzheimer's, and people are losing faith in him, especially the British government. And
then there's a different take on Chloe this season too. She's back as Hot Topic Chloe.
Yeah, all emo out.
Yeah, she's all emoed out, and it's like I don't know. You know what I'm wondering is like off camera they offed her family.
Yeah, the story is that her family died in between season 8 and Live Another Day, and now she's a internet terrorist rebel.
Yeah.
And she's being interrogated very heavily at the beginning of the CIA, where Jack allows himself to get captured so that he could break Chloe out, because Chloe has contacts to help him find out who's behind the new terrorist attack against President Heller.
And so, yeah, I mean, one thing I don't like, it gets to me, like, they had this thing where, season 7, they brought him to D.C. Season 8, they brought us to New York. Right. Now it's like, oh, maybe if we put him somewhere else, They throw us.
Maybe they change it up if he drives on the left side. Left side of the road, it'd be completely different.
They throw us to London, and it's another unnecessary change. Do you think they even utilize London enough?
Well, the one thing about London is many, I guess, Americans don't know, if they don't know, is that London is wired up with a lot of cameras. Mm-hmm. It's a CCTV over there for protection. So I guess that was one thing they could use Chloe for. I guess that's what her use came in. She's always the calm girl, the calm guy or girl to help out Jack. So I guess that's the only instance I could think of where it helped out Jack Bauer.
Yeah.
But otherwise, being in London, I don't know. Of course, 24 always had this, I guess, underlining message about American military industrial complex. Mm-hmm. That's been out the entire series. And this one, the whole issue is that America wants to fly drones all over the world for better protection, quote unquote. And the British government was in talks of allowing it or disallowing it to happen. Some drones are already in the air. And what happens is the terrorists, Chloe's group that she was working in league with before she got captured, a terrorist internet group, was developing a device that takes control of drones.
Yeah.
So that was the whole big controversy.
And I think it's good that they kept it kind of topical because drones are a thing right now, and that's.
I want my Amazon drones to drop off stuff, but at the same time, what if someone drops off a nuke or something, a suitcase nuke in my backyard?
Exactly, and then we had some other interesting additions to the cast. I mean, Audrey Raines is back.
Audrey Raines is back, and now she's married
again
to the Secretary of State.
No, he's the chief of staff.
Chief of staff. I'm sorry, chief of staff to her dad. Mm-hmm. And she's kind of put back together compared to what happened to her in season 6.
Yeah, she's not a vegetable anymore. Yeah. She's resuscitated, and I guess she's been to therapy.
Yeah,
so she's back, and then
talk to Dr. Phil.
Yeah, and so I don't know. There's a lot of strange little subplots. Like her husband hates Jack, doesn't trust him.
Well, yeah, Jack is the guy that he knows she always kind of still had a soft spot for him, and
Well, because she got in the situation she was in because she went to save Jack in China.
Yeah,
and then that's what happened. She ended up being tortured by the Chinese and
by Chang.
Yeah, Chang.
Yeah,
but yeah, no, she's back, and I never had a strong attachment to the character. She was one of the weaker female leads, in my opinion.
Right. It's just that it's sad the way it happened. What happened to her, and you feel sympathetic for her.
Yeah, no, you definitely do, and you definitely feel sympathetic to Jack because it's like every woman he ever loves meets a horrible fate, pretty much. And she got tortured, and he was kind of pushed out of her life.
Yeah.
So you get this season where it's kind of teased that they still have a connection.
Yeah.
And her jerk husband is working behind the scenes to sell Jack out to the Russians.
Right, because in the season 8, the last season, Jack did some despicable things to the Russian consulate. So they want his head. Mm-hmm. And now that they heard Jack's back or found him, they demand that the U.S. government turn him over.
And again, we're seeing these reused tropes.
Yeah.
Where it's the same thing that happened with the Chinese
in season 5.
Yeah, because he had tortured a Chinese.
No, he broke into the Chinese consulate season 4
to get someone out.
But
he had to shoot up some people or something, right?
No, the leader of the Chinese consulate, he accidentally got shot in a crossfire.
That's true.
By his own guard.
Yeah.
But since Jack initiated the invasion on the consulate, they wanted him.
That's true. So yeah, it's the same kind of situation.
Yeah.
Now the Chinese were after Jack. They got him. Now the Russians are after him. And so yeah, Jack's trying to solve this international turmoil, but he's got Russians chasing him around the city.
Right. So it's pretty much almost the same thing.
Yeah. But yeah, we're seeing these reused things. Like I said, I wish they wouldn't have brought it back. I don't feel like 24 Lad was worth the ride, in my opinion.
What about they did change up one thing. The main villain this time is actually a female, Margot Azarazi.
Yeah.
Played by the same actress that played Catelyn Stark on Game of Thrones.
Yep, Michelle Fairley.
Yeah.
And she's a welcome addition to the cast. I like her. And
she was cold compared to her.
She's a cold character.
She's cold. Cut off my daughter's pinky.
Yeah, she'll do anything. That's what it seems like.
Yeah.
But as ruthless as she is, and she was willing to do all these awful things, her downfall was kind of ridiculous in a way, because she was willing to trust that Heller was going to give himself up.
Yeah.
Like she was like, okay, I won't bomb anybody. Just come over here and I'll kill you. And then
I'll stop the attacks.
I'll stop the attacks. And I'm like, really? Like, why don't you just? I don't know.
Well, I guess she was hoping he was honorable, and the thing is, he was willing to sacrifice himself.
He was going to do it, but
and on the cliffhanger of that episode, we all thought he did die, but it turns out Jack got him to run out of the way just in time. Chloe signal looped the missile, camera signal of the drone, and so it looked like Heller was still standing there when it hit.
Oh yeah, yeah. So that was one of the twists, and I guess it was kind of. What did you feel about that twist? Because it was kind of.
I was actually surprised. I really thought Heller took one for the team.
I thought so too.
I was like, that's an honorable man.
Do you remember if he got a silent clock after that? I don't remember.
I don't remember because if you don't know on 24, if once a major character dies, they cut to the clock, of course, like they usually do, but it's silent.
Yeah, they do a silent clock, and that's usually someone's death or.
I know they did for Audrey.
Yeah, Audrey.
Yeah. So.
But yeah, reuse. There's tons of reuse tropes. I can go on and on about how Ladd disappointed me, because
I mean, give me an instance. Like, what really killed it for you?
All right, so I feel that the first half with them just kind of like driving around looking for Margot.
Yeah.
It seemed like the only way that things happen in the show is when the villain makes a stupid mistake.
Well, that's true of any villain, though. The villain has to make a mistake to get caught.
Yeah, but it's just every episode they're running around looking for something. They find a guy, they question him, and then they go check out a spot. Like they send all the agents to her house.
Or her house where she looped the IP address.
Yeah. She master IP at another house, and then they bomb the guys. And I'm like, we've seen this before. We've seen the. Maybe that's the problem with this kind of show, is that there's only so many things you could do. Like unless they like introduce like aliens in the show or like something ridiculous. We have all these kind of like
Galactic Jack Bauer.
Yeah, I mean,
wait, isn't that Commander Shepard?
That's Commander Shepard, yeah.
From Mass Effect.
But like, we're tied to this world of counter terrorists, and it feel like we're looping the same kind of storylines over and over and over again.
Well, I mean, I guess that's out of the fear of breaking the formula. With the whole thing was, if it's not broken, don't try to fix it.
Yeah.
But at this moment, I would say it's already broken, so you need to fix it.
I wish they would have utilized, like they said they were going to do time skips. They only used one time skip the whole season. Yeah. It's the last episode.
Season finale.
The season finale, they skip like 12 hours, and there's not much that comes out of it. All it does is change from night to day, and it makes it possible to have Audrey's body in a casket, being carted onto a plane. That's the only thing it really allows for.
It gave us a sad moment when Heller is like,
his little monologue there.
His monologue, he's like, I won't remember any of this soon. Mm-hmm. I won't remember I had a daughter. I won't remember this horrible thing happened. So what does it matter?
Yeah, it's kind of a bittersweet thing because it's like he won't have the pain in his head, but that's also the tragedy of it.
Yeah,
I mean that's a good moment, and I like a lot of the moments with Heller. Mm-hmm. It's. Overall, there are a few moments that I really liked, and but a majority.
Well, what's a good moment that you liked?
A moment I liked was Margot's death.
Yeah,
where Jack just. I
think that was the best part of the entire season.
That's the best part of the whole Ladd 24 Ladd was. He basically infiltrates the building where Margot's in.
First, her son hears Jack climbing down the window. He grabbed a cable to use as a rope to rappel down.
Yeah, he's rappelling down the building.
And then he hears something, and then open fire. Thinking that he shot Jack, he goes to like an idiot.
Yeah.
He goes to the window. Jack just joink and just pulls him out. And that was like what, 4-story fall kill. Yeah,
something like that. And then the son just he's dead.
And
Jack goes in. He shoots her hand.
Yeah, shoots on her shoulder.
Yeah, he disarms her, and then he turns off the drone.
Wait. He grabs the missile. Has already been launched by the drone towards a Waterloo station, which is a heavy traffic station.
He guides the missile.
He grabs her, armbars her, and while armbarring her, uses the control to guide the missile away, which was like like 9.8 turn or something like that. Like
Yeah,
that missile turned very sharply.
that was a very maneuverable missile, and he's able to maneuver it into the water, and it doesn't hit the train station or whatever.
Yeah.
And then after that, Margot's done, and she's like, if you do this, you're gonna have all these people's heads or all these people's lives on your hands.
Yeah, all the people that died earlier at the hospital that she bombed. And he's like, that was on your head.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's like, the only death on my hands is yours.
He just throws her. She's cuffed behind her back.
Yeah.
And he just throws her out the window.
Yeah, just tosses her out. And that was, I don't know, that's probably the best moment of the season for me.
I think the whole thing about the psychology of loving Jack Bauer as a character is that you get the satisfaction that justice is done in some form or fashion.
He does what is needed to be done to get justice.
Even though it's crossing the line by law. He'll do what's necessary to get the job done. And there's some satisfaction because we would never do something like that, but internally we wish we could.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who's like, yeah, that bitch deserves to die. Throw her out the window, and then he does it. That you can live vicariously through his actions. I mean, but he's also a character that you really sympathize for because a lot of times he does these tasks at the
sacrifice of his own
like livelihood and his family and such. So, I don't know. Jack's just to me he's the only thing carrying the show. Chloe was very dour and she wasn't used for comedic purposes like usual. You remember how in the past she's always been used for
she was socially awkward. I think she had some kind of social disorder, but I wasn't sure. Did they ever announce that or something?
I'm not sure.
She was quite rude and to the point.
She was very sharp-tongued to a lot of people.
Yeah.
And we didn't kind of have that thing going with her. She was more played as a sympathetic character this time around.
Right. She of course, what happened to her family being gone.
The new character, what's her name? Kate?
Was
it Kate?
Kate Morgan?
I don't remember.
No.
To me, Yvonne, she's played by Yvonne Stravinsky. I can't pronounce her name. I'm bad. So she's interesting.
That's what I was thinking. Like, since Jack Bauer is getting up in age, if they're gonna pass the torch onto her because she seems very in line with his thought process of getting the job done no matter what.
She gets the job done and she's efficient.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm not really.
Well, I know it's not the same as Jack Bauer.
It's not the same, yeah.
But it's a different take. It's a female Jack Bauer that I guess is emotionally vulnerable at times, but she's still stern. She'll get the job done. Mm-hmm. But just like Jack, bad shit still happens to her. Mm-hmm.
So going forward, we got this ending where it's a cliffhanger. Jack's captured by the Russians, the Russians. So we went from having a open ending on season 8, where we have closure. Jack's free. Yeah. Now he's in custody. So it's like we have to get
another season.
We have to get another season,
or a movie,
or straight to DVD movie, whatever. Or it's just like, why even? What was the whole point of this?
Well, I think in some ways it's kind of closure because now Jack has nothing left to live for. He gave his life up for Chloe. She was the last friend he had. Yeah. There's nothing else he wants to live for.
But it's like, I want to see him die. Like, I want to see him. That's the only way the 24 can ever really end.
That's true. The man needs some peace.
He needs peace, and if they do bring him back, and I've always said this, I want to see a Tony Almeida redemption arc. I want to see the villains who orchestrated season 5, 6, and 7, the Alan Wilson Bluetooth gang. Yeah. That is an interesting plot they need to revisit.
I think they may need to make that movie. And what's his name? That went missing on season 4, the kid.
Yeah, Baruz. The Baruz. We never knew what happened to that kid.
Yeah, he was his family was terrorists.
He's probably the leader of the Bluetooth gang.
Yeah, his family was his mom and dad were terrorists growing up in America, and he grew up in America, and he had information, and Jack saved him. But in the end, the terrorists like, we want him back, or this is going to happen, some horrible, duplicable things. So they traded Baruz for Jack because Jack was captured, and then we never heard from Baruz again. It's like, what happened to him? And we always joke that, the whole forums joke that he's going to come back as a major terrorist.
He'll come back as the villain.
He's like, you left me, Jack.
All right, final conclusion. I don't think it should come back. I don't know. It was disappointing to me. How about you?
I hope they come back because I need to see more of what happens after season 9.
Well, yeah, now that we have it, we need him to come back, but I don't think we should have. And so, we're running out of time. if you like what you've seen here, make sure to hit the subscribe link at the bottom of the video here. And of course, follow us on our various social media sites, Facebook, Twitter, yada yada. And of course, visit our website, altus.com. Till then, I'm Brian McBalls, and this is Mike Ronan Fan, and we're all.
I'm all.
Specifically me.
Is Jack Bauer all?
He's all. But you know, man, if they need to come back, they need to do the Alan Wilson gang. That's all I gotta say. We got 15 seconds. They need to come back. They need to get the Bluetooth gang. Almeida needs to be ousted from prison.
Jack Bauer teams up with Almeida and John McClane.